So diet breaks, in other words, 1 to 2 weeks back to maintenance calories. It's not having complete free reign over your diet. It's also not the same as a refeed, which is typically 1 or 2 days. It's longer than that, so you do sort of experience the metabolic effects of the break. There are various things that happen when you are in a dieting phase that effectively work against you. It's almost like a cascade that makes it harder and harder for you to lose weight. We'll start with the most obvious one. You're eating less, so your thermic effect of feeding goes down. So in other words, you're consuming less food, so less calories go towards digesting and processing that food in the first place. Secondly, if you start to weigh less, then your resting metabolic rate will also go down. And basically what that is your minimum amount of calories that your body needs to just survive whilst you do absolutely nothing else. If you've been dieting for a while, you're probably going to be really tired and you're not going to have much energy. So your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, otherwise known as NEAT, will go down, and basically that is you're fidgeting, you're standing, you're walking around, you just become more lazy. Your hormones also change in favour of you being more hungry. So your ghrelin will go up and your leptin will go down. There's also a stress response, so your cortisol goes up, your serotonin goes down. Basically what this is your body trying to protect you. It's going into survival mode. So whilst this would be helpful in a time where you're genuinely starving and trying to survive, it's not really helpful if you're just trying to diet. So in comes this thing called a diet break, which is effectively just trying to avoid metabolic adaptation to dieting. So whilst people have really big differences in the amount that they will adapt to something, what the research has shown us is that when you increase calories back up again, some of those metabolic changes, for example your resting metabolic rate, can go back up quite quickly. So in 2017 there was a really big study. It was called the Matador study, and that is minimizing adaptive thermogenesis and deactivating obesity rebound. Anyway, what that study did was have 2 groups. Group 1 did a 16-week diet and they adjusted their calories as they went along based on their new estimated maintenance calories. Group 2 alternated between 2 weeks in a deficit, 2 weeks at maintenance calories, back and forth, and they effectively did that for double the time, so 32 weeks. And what that study showed was that the second group, the one that did the diet breaks, had more fat loss, less metabolic adaptation, generally lost more weight overall. Now obviously that process becomes incredibly dragged out, so when it comes to putting that into a practical sense, you obviously need to think about how long you have, and if people were to do what they did in that study and had a diet break every 2 weeks, that's quite excessive. So what I would recommend is if you are dieting for a long time, it's probably a good idea to put in some diet breaks, maybe every 2 or 3 months, and it could help you avoid some of that metabolic adaptation. Also potentially help you out in situations where you might get stuck in a bit of a plateau.